Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kate Stone, here to you again with Banished, Colonial Charter. We are now on episode 7, and surprisingly enough, the colony still exists. I'm going to go ahead and slow this down, just a speed 2 while we're talking here. And I do want to thank everybody for returning. I know this is a full week's worth of episodes, plus one day for New Year's Eve. So, thank you once again. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Like the video if you have been liking the series so far, and make sure you leave me a comment so I know what your favorite part of the video is. We're returning to our colony here, where just a few episodes ago we did have a massive amount of death. Thankfully enough, in the last episode, it seems that we have really bounced back from that. We're now up to 40 people in our colony, including all the children, all the students, and all of the adults. And we've made a few changes. We're getting this forest cluster up and running. Hopefully by the end of this episode, it will be going rather well. Now, last episode we did lower the number of people we have fishing. You'll see that we're still getting 328 in the current season, as well as some mushrooms. But that is phenomenal. We did set up this bridge to be constructed. Now, right now, our laborers are just hauling the stone. They'll eventually get the logs here as well. Whenever that happens, then they'll open up our brand new area over here, where we'll really be able to take advantage of all these trees, all this stone and iron. And hopefully, before too long, we also will have some of these students growing up into adults. So I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. My day has just been phenomenal, so here's to that continuing on. Now, right now, we are still running a labor shortage. I'm going to go ahead and bump this back up to speed 5. I'm just going to take a quick look, make sure that all of our production buildings are producing a fair amount. Now, you'll notice here that in the middle, actually in the end of winter, we still have a stockpile of 1,800 food. So, with the amount of food that we have stockpiled, I think we're actually doing pretty well comparatively. Now, we are starting to run low on firewood. We're down to 12. Now we're out. But we do have 21 logs, so our firewood cutter will be able to continue on and really get this thing rolling for us. Now, we have 56% of our inventory full over here in the market. As for now, really that's where we need it to be. That's going to supply all these homes. And it looks like construction is ready to begin on our bridge. So this is going to be pretty nice whenever that's done. We'll be able to get over to the other side of the river. One thing I did notice is that we still have all of these wooden houses. So whenever that bridge is done, I'm going to make sure that we have enough stone and enough wood banked up. And I'm going to... I'm just going to set the order right now for the stone for our laborers, because it looks like they're not really doing anything at the moment. But we'll get some stone in here. And we do have 163, but we're going to need a lot, because we're going to be upgrading all of our houses, at least to stone homes, and each one does take 40 stone with 35 logs as well. Now, we did just have a child grow up from student into adult, so we're just going to bump this up once again, go up to 7 workers on our harvesters. That's really where the majority of our food is going to start coming from. So yeah, this one is fully stocked now. That's better because this is an old forest cluster. And is that a tree? Yeah, that's a purple tree right there. And yeah, once again. Okay, there we go. We have fully stocked gatherers' huts. We still only have one person working the forester. So I think our next few students growing into adults are going to become foresters. We only have one in the entire colony. Something we definitely need to take a look at. The game's just going to do a quick autosave here. And then it looks like our bridge is complete. Now the big question is our trader going to be able to go underneath of this? If they're not, then this bridge is going to have to go away sooner rather than later. But we'll just begin removing resources right through here. That'll get us some logs. That'll get us some iron as well. We don't really need the iron ore at this moment, but this will clear up a little bit of area over here. And just because we can, let's go ahead and drop some roads. I want that to follow the curvature of the river. And that'll just get us a road all the way over to the bridge, so the people don't just have to walk directly on the dirt. And we have our first citizen on the far side of the river. We have Elizabeth, just over there taking care of everything for us. Now I wonder, what are these going to give us? Just wood. Okay. But since we did a full harvest of this area, they'll also be grabbing all of the harvestables here as well. So it's going to be a little bit of food coming in from our laborers. Okay, now we are on 5 times speed. I'm going to leave that as it is. I know we can bump it up one more time to 10 times speed. That'll just be a little chaotic. Okay, our iron limit is 200, and at the moment we're only at 84. I'm going to let that continue on. How much? We have 90 industrial fuel. There's 100. So let's go ahead and turn the work off on this. Turn that person back into a laborer. So we actually have 2 laborers at this point. And we'll bump this up to 3 people working the Forester's Lodge. So we'll have 2 here in the new one. We'll have 1 person in the older cluster. And they'll just be planting pine trees and cutting down the trees in this area. Just to renew this bit of forest. You know, honestly, if I thought about it, I probably should have just done a regular forester's hut there. Because these pine trees, this is rather ugly. Okay. I'm just taking a quick look here through what we actually have for labor. And right now we are really just constrained by the number of people we have able to work in our colony. So over time that will continue to grow. And as it does, things will just continue to get better and better for us, and hopefully we don't have any more mass die-offs. Okay, this new cluster here looks like it is going pretty well. We can see there are new trees popping up the whole time. We have actually all 3 people working over here now. So they're planting and they're harvesting. So we actually need to plan out some more of the buildings we need in this cluster. So the next thing I think we're going to need is going to be medicine again. So that should be over here for our herbalist. And is it possible? No, it doesn't look like it is. But we will be able to just throw some dirt roads right through the middle of this place. So I'm just going to plan those out rather quickly. And that is going to take a little bit of space away from our trees. Honestly, though, that shouldn't be a bad thing. Our firewood reserves are coming back up, and we do have some stored food. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to drop, well, let's say 2 stone houses over here. Yes, we'll put 2 stone houses so the people working in this area won't have to go very far at all to get to work. Yeah, before I could really make that decision, I had to definitely take a look at what we had over here. Now, the harvest order we set up here looks like it has slowed down because the people working the farm, the farmers here, man, they're almost ready for a harvest. So as soon as the crops do come in, then our farmers will turn back into laborers for the end of autumn through winter. What other buildings could we get in here? We need some more town services. We already have our school. It looks like everything is requiring boards. So let's see what it's going to take us to make boards. Tools and forge, fuel, construction. Okay, so we can make a saw pit, a lumber yard, fast, almost as fast per worker as regular sawmill. The sawmill takes 110 logs. What about the water wheel sawmill? That takes 80 plus another 30 stone. Yeah, that looks like that wouldn't be a bad idea. So let's see if there's anywhere we could place it along this river. Well, that's going to become very congested through here if we put it here. What about right beside our fishermen? Yeah, that'll work. We already have a road there that'll go with our burgeoning waterfront production area. So it shouldn't actually be a bad idea. So we'll go ahead and we'll just put this here. Now this is going to take a lot of logs and a fair bit of stone. But with our foresters beginning to increase the number of people working in these areas, it shouldn't actually be a really big deal. So once again, we're only tied down by the number of citizens in the town. Now you'll notice there's this nice curve here that is coming from our Forester Lodge. We're not going to cut into this area very much. I want to keep this growing. And as such, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to place down a dirt road and really just try to block this area off. That's another reason why I wanted to keep this road just following the curvature of the river. So we'll put down this road just to really mark the boundary over here. And then with this area, I mean, we've got a little bit to the north that we can take care of. We don't want to really be digging into the area of this forester either. We do want to run 2 full forest clusters. So that's what we're going to have to do, really. Okay, now our herbalist is being constructed at this point. We're just waiting for the builder to show up. Everything's been delivered at this point. And how is our resource collection going on up here? We're just in mid-autumn at this point, so our farm should be almost done. Yeah, you see that they've already collected 3/4 of what was here. So that should go pretty quickly. We're going to continually get this ding for just the reserve of logs being low. But right now we have a lot of firewood stored up. We also have massive amount of food. Almost 4,000 stored food here. Less than half of which is the corn that we're bringing in right now. So, yeah, the food issue might become a thing of the past. Now, what are some of these other ones? Just 195 stored miscellaneous items. And it looks like while I wasn't looking, another one of our students became an adult. So we will be able to go up to 4 people working in the Forester Lodge. once again, it looks like they're all working over there. Did I turn this one off? If I could ever click on it. Yes, I did turn that one off. So I'll go ahead and allow 4 people to work over here as well. So we'll be able to get up to the total of 8. And that's what I was hoping was happening, as that they would split the number of workers working at each. So that should keep our log income going. Now the herbalist, I'm going to let this sit for a while. I just wanted the building. Okay, there we go. We'll take that up to 5. I'm going to get the forester lodges fully stocked before we continue on with any of the other productions. At this point, we only have 6 students available. I mean, the babies, the children, they are becoming students quickly. I need these houses, though. I need to increase the population. That's going to give us a more of a boost. And I think with all the food income we have now, that will most likely keep us in business. At 33 degrees in the early winter, that's colder than what it is now. Here in my area of the world, I mean, it was 70 degrees on New Year's Eve this year. So, something I'm definitely not used to. And I say, as we need more houses, there's a child born right there. Speaking of the new year, I know we're about a week into 2019 now, but I hope everyone is having a great year so far. If you're watching sometime in the future, I hope your entire year has gone well. If it's not 2019 anymore, I hope it was a good one for you. Okay, so we do have a few things stored up here in our trader. 60 iron tools. That we might just be using this as a bank, because our amount of stored tools is going down. How are we looking for leather? Looks like on leather, it should be in here somewhere. We have 33. So we could turn that into another 33 coats. I think it's 1 for 1. That would put us back up above 80. Right now we don't need it though. So we'll just leave that be. Now we did just have another student grow into an adult. So, as we all know, increase the forestry profession. So we should have 3 working at each now. And we have cutting and planting on both. And how is our income going over here? That is phenomenal. Okay, and yeah, whenever our food income does ramp up to the point where we don't need the farm anymore, I'm getting rid of the farm. I've talked to some other people who play this game and are much better than I am, and really they've all told me that farms are not worth the amount of effort you put into them. You only get the food 1 time a year, and then after that, it's wasted production. Whereas with the gatherers' huts, you get the food year-round. I mean, you can see that this isn't even a fully grown forest, and they're still pulling in pretty much as the farm itself is doing. And that is year-round, so we have the constant production out of this, and the good thing is we have 2 of them. So let's see, have they begun construction over here yet? They are delivering logs. We still need a lot more here. But after this thing is built, then we'll be able to make our boards. And with the boards, we can really start into some of the higher tier buildings. We're up to 168 stored iron. Oh man, you can see that it's all right here. Yeah, there's 154 stored iron here. To the point that I'm almost thinking we need to make yet another stockpile. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to take up this entire area right here by the tailor. So we'll just make another open air stockpile for, well, everything. A 7x7. That should keep us in business for a nice little while. And I'm going to turn this entire area here into production. Now, how are we doing on our iron ore? We have 59 here. So our sawmill, we have all the logs. We're just waiting on stone to be delivered, and we have more than enough stone sitting there. We have both of these houses already built. You see that it's all foresters and gatherers here. Both of them are two couples, both able to produce children. And there we go. We have our last two. Our forester lodges are fully staffed at this point. We're down to only 4 children and 6 students. But we did get a trader. So he's bringing salt and coal. The coal we can eventually turn into furnace fuel. I don't think we need it right now. And we somehow are getting salt. I'm agreeing with Everyone Loves Pirates. That must be from the dried tears of people who lost loved ones during the plague of starvation. We don't need this trader, so he can just be on his merry way. I want to see if he can get under our bridge. That's what I was worried about whenever I put this up. So let's just see how this goes. And it looks like he goes right through our support. Fair enough. As long as he can get through, that's the only part that matters. Okay, so what else do we have the ability to do now? We already have our herbalist made up. And after we get boards, we'll get a hospital. I don't know what that item is, though. So let's look over here in our refined resources again. So we have a brickwork. I bet those were bricks. But for the brickworks, I don't know what some of these icons are. It's all new stuff with Colonial Charter, and that just brings a lot of things in here. Well, let's check over here in clothing and fabrics, maybe. Okay, bedding maker, a fiber watermill. Now, one thing people have asked me about in the past is, if this colony fails, will I be starting a new one? The answer is yes. And whenever I start the new one, it is going to be in one of the Colonial Charter maps. We'll probably be doing one of the shoreside ones. I should have just used a dock bridge to get across. Yeah, that would cost 13 rather than the massive amount that we used here. But back to the question, yes, I will be starting a new colony if this one fails. At this point, though, hopefully we've begun to stabilize. We're already in late spring, and our food supply is only growing. We've put a few new houses in here. Let's see, what do we have the resources for? We can upgrade one of these houses to a stone house. And our water wheel sawmill is almost complete at this point. That is one thing I do want to see happen in this episode. So let's just go ahead and come in here, take a nice look at this. Our fishing dock. Still have a couple of people fishing here. They're bringing in around 400 fish per season. Honestly, I think the fishing dock might go. Because the food that it creates doesn't really seem like it's worth the time to have 2 people working on that. Whereas I could just put more people on a gatherer's hut. And we did have someone die of old age. I'm fine with that. That's probably the best death that they can have here, is they had their full life. They didn't starve to death. They didn't freeze in the cold. I'll take it. And it looks like actually we have someone without a home right now. That's probably because this wooden house is being upgraded. But we'll go ahead and unpause this. Just taking a look here at what we can build. We've got town abodes, country homes, a gable house. Ooh, we can do row houses? I mean, these are going to take a lot of resources that we don't have access to yet. Definitely some things that we do want to get into here. Provides similar warmth as regular wooden. A large colonial. We can't build that just yet. Okay, there we go. The person who died has been replaced. And it looks like our water wheel sawmill is complete. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this. We can make firewood here. Oh my. Okay. So, this is a game changer. We are definitely going to get rid of this woodcutter. Because if we can make firewood at the sawmill, that should go so much faster. So yeah, let's go ahead and just turn off the work. I'll even we'll turn one person on it. Oh, it already is. Okay. We'll turn this off, and then we will set this up to be deconstructed. And this house is just waiting for things to be delivered. But that's something that's going to have to happen in the next episode. I want to thank you all very much for showing up. Once again, my name is Cade Stone. You have a wonderful day.